Hello, what's up? It's Silly City back with Hawaii Behind the Records episode number 24, and this week we're gonna look into a dub beat. Dubstep music or a dub beat is very spacious, heavy and dark. It also has like a system shaking bass, it has minimal drums and a lot of dubby effects that echo into oblivion. Alright, let's look into the drums and we're gonna start with the BPMs, the tempo, and the original like OG dubstep has 138 to 142 BPMs and the more like modern stepper minimal dubstep is in the 140 BPM range. The drums in dubstep music have a groove with like a subtle shuffle. You also have like offbeat effects and ghost notes. You can also create like a halftime feel if you just have a kick on the 1 and the snare on the 3, and here you have like massive negative space to work with. Like I already mentioned, the kick hits on the 1, it's subby, deep, and also has like a short decay. The snare and the clap can be heavy and also like layered together, and you can also add a rim, and usually it hits on the 3. If you look at the hi-hats here, you can use like sparse 16 notes, also with like varied velocity, and you can add in some triplet hats and also like just add some ghost notes or some muted hits to add to the groove. Percussions in dub music are often like natural. Those can be like wood blocks, and you can also like pan the perks a little bit to the left or the right, and often they are swung and a little bit off grid to add some groove. That's already everything about the drums, so let's look into some first beats that I have created, and then we're gonna be back for some more instruments and melodics. Alright, let's look into some beats, and this week we have some dub, and dub is really simple because it's just like the kick on the downbeat and then the snare on like the 3 or here a little bit late. And that's the basic drum arrangement. And yeah, then I started to add in like some bass. And I think I played like my bass and sampled it and added some LFOs. And I don't know, it sounded already kind of nice, so this was fun. Yeah, so let's look into another beat. Alright, so what I tried to do here was basically just having the arrangement in Ableton and then like playing in the bass and yeah, using effects on there. And yeah, I don't know, like playing with the serum basses. So and then just like adding in some elements what felt like dub or like a dubby vibe. And yeah, I don't know, it's chill, it's a basic beat, and I think I just did this for me to just like play around a little bit with a new genre that I liked. And yeah, I think it was chill to begin with, but everything's still very basic. So yeah, that's why I did another beat. So here we have like another beat, and as you can see, the drums are really simple. You have a kick and a snare. And then I think I just like wanted to try a little bit more different elements or add in some basses and keys. And yeah, basically, yeah, that was a basic beat or an idea. I think this, yeah, it's a little bit much here, this bass. But yeah, it was just nice to play around a little bit with this drum arrangement and then like adding in some more noises to get some dub music. But I also realized I need some more theory to know what I should do to do like a full-on track. So let's dive into that. Alright, let's look into the instruments, and here we're gonna start with the bass. The bass in dubstep music can be like a sub bass, it can be a pure sine wave or just like a triangle sub bass. Here it's important that you use LFO modulation, just like use a slow pulse movement, and for the notes also use the low notes from C1 to G1. In dubstep music you can also add additional basses to the sub bass. Those can be like mid basses that are like with a minimal VOP style modulation. You can add some LFO automation or like adjust the LFO rates and influence with that like the phasing or the filter envelope. But it's important that those additional basses and the mid basses come in later in the track and that they don't overshadow the sub bass. The sub bass in dubstep music is king and everything else just supports it. The instruments used in dub music are often minimal or non-existent. If you use them, those can be like in the minor chords, and those are just dub steps. So this basically means they're short offbeat hits that are processed with some reverb. Other melodic elements you can use are like piano hits or guitar chops. You can also add some filtered keys or low pass filtered pads and also some vocal chops. In dub music, you can use a lot of echo and delay throws where you also add in the ping pong modulation. You can trigger that on the snare, on the vocals or the chords. You can also automate the feedback of the wet and dry of these effects. You can also like drench the whole hits in reverb, especially like the snare or the clap. And you can also add some vinyl and dub noise. Other effects you can use are field recordings or static noise. You can add in some filtered sweeps and tape stops. You can also high or low pass filter the pads and drums. And you can also automate the filter cutoff with some boosted resonance. Alright, let's look into the track structure, and here we start with an intro that's 16 to 32 bars, and here you have more like the atmospheric pads. You can also add in some effects and have some filtered drums. After that, already the first drop hits, that's like 16 to 32 bars. Here the full sub hits, you have some minimal drums and also add in the dub effects. Next up is the echo space, that's like 8 to 16 bars. Here the sub fades and you have the tail of the effects, and you add to that some reverbed vocals. Then the second drop hits, that's like 16 to 32 bars. Here you can add in some variation with the percussions or just like tweak a little bit the modulation of the bass. As always, you can add in some more echo spaces and additional drops, but usually in dub music you just like have 2 drops, and after that the outro counts, that's like 16 bars. Here you can just play the sub or like strip down everything, that you just have the tail of the effects to fade out the track. Things to consider when you're structuring a dub beat is that you're focusing on the contrast between the elements and also on the negative space. Then also use the effects, delay and filter as guidance in between transitions, and also use minimal switch ups. So what you can switch up is like the pattern of the heads, or you can filter out the bass line halfway. So that's the research I did together with ChatGPT for dub music. I already tried it out a little bit, and I think like it helped me just to get a grip of it. I still have to fine tune a lot, but I really like this music. So yeah, let's look into some more beats, and then we're gonna be back for the TLDR. Alright, so I think I already mentioned that like I did some basic beats, and those basic beats were like around my birthday, because like I had to do like different kind of genres for like the content that I had prepared, but I wanted to do like a genre I really enjoy, like around like my birthday time, just like, yeah, it's my life, I should enjoy it and do stuff that I like. So because that was already like a little bit chill and it was easier than expected, I just like, when it came to the time to make a dub beat, I already started like with a track. I knew like the drum arrangement, and after like the whole jungle and break beat stuff, I also knew a little bit better how to use Serum. And yeah, this is basically the track that I came up with, and that's also available as free download on Saturday as part of the Unfinished Beats Volume 2. TLDR of a dub beat. Modern dubstep music is often 140 BPMs. The kick is short and deep and hits on the 1. The snare and the clap are layered on the 3 and have some reverb on it. The heads hit in sparse 16th notes. Then you can also pan the percussions that you use a little bit to the left or the right. The sub bass has LFO modulation, and to that you can add a mid wobble bass. You can add some harmonies, but they're often minimal or non-existent. If you use them, they're often like just dub steps, and to that you can add some vocal chops. Additionally, you can add a lot of effects like echo, delay or like reverb, and to that you can add some filter sweeps and also tape stops. That's it for this week's HWY Behind the Records. Next week we're gonna look at the last genre for now. It's gonna be organic downtempo. So until then, enjoy your week, eat something nice, and see you. Bye!